Hey guys, today we're gonna be explaining Diavolo's King Crimson and Giorno Giovanna's Golden Experience Requiem. You know, because the reason why I'm doing this is because I see a lot of videos on it and they're all like, 30 minutes for no reason. Like, a lot of people over explain it, and really, I just wanna, show you the simplest way. And I'm not gonna really explain it in like a fully explained way. If you want to watch that, then go watch a 30-minute video. But I'm just here to explain to you how it works, and not like how it works, but basically what happened instead of how it works. Because a lot of people, to make how it works, you need to put like, I don't know, 12 pages of just talking about Golden Experience Requiem, or like just talking about it for like 30 minutes. Honestly, it's not worth it. So I'm just gonna explain what happened and just the basis of how it works, right? So let's start with King Crimson, or Diavolo's King Crimson. Right, so the first ability of Diavolo's King Crimson is seeing in the future. Now, for all the dummies out there, let me explain how seeing in the future works. If you're thinking of punching Diavolo, Diavolo can see the future of where you actually try to punch him, right? And then he can accurately predict how the fight's gonna go, because he can see the future. Like, he sees that you're gonna punch him, so he sees the best way. Like, he can just dodge that and punch you back, right? Because, he sees the future. And that's basically his first ability, just seeing in the future. So, in the present, you think about it. In the future, you punch him, right? And that's basically it. He just sees the future, right? And this works in tandem with his second ability. And his second ability is much more complicated than his first. His second ability is erasing time, how they put it in the show. But really, what it is just erasing the memory of, the people that got, just everyone, really, except himself. Or erasing the memory of everyone except himself for that moment. So, because he can see the future, he can then erase the memory of everyone else's memory on that time that he saw in the future. Like, for example, right? He in his perspective, he's just dodging their attacks, right? Because he can see them. He's just dodging their attacks and punching them back. In their perspective, um, you know, just they have a fist through their stomach area or through their chests, and like time is skipped. Like, for example, there was this one scene where the um airplane stand user, he was about to take some chocolates from someone, right? And then time skipped and he already had them in his mouth, right? So basically, it means that the actions in that time still happen, but they're like the memories are erased, for everyone except Diavolo himself, right? So basically, right, you're gonna punch Diavolo. He sees this, and then he picks that time to be erased from everyone's memory, making it seem like he just punched your belly out of nowhere. He just came up behind you suddenly. He was just like, he had a fist through your like stomach area, just right there for no reason. Like, it's completely, just completely confusing to the enemy, but to him it's just another day. It's just like, because like it erases their memory while keeping his, right? And that's basically what it does, I would say, right? So now let's go to Golden Experience Requiem. Let's switch. So here we got Golden Experience Requiem. Now, of course, a lot of people are probably gonna think, oh, it's gonna be harder to explain this one because it's Golden Experience Requiem. But really, it's not hard at all, right? And let me explain why. A lot of people say, like, explain exactly how he does this, but since it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and fuck, because it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? There really is no reason to just over explain things. It is a bizarre adventure for a reason. But I'll explain it. So just explain it so you can understand. But I want to explain it like in realistic terms because that just doesn't make sense. Like I don't understand why you'd be trying to make sense of it like if it was real because we're talking about, you know, these invisible things that are super powerful. Like doesn't make any sense. Right? So let's start with it. Golden Experience's Requiem ability is just at the the basics. It's just going back in time, basically, right? And the person whose ability this the person who this ability was used on, like for example, if the stand used it on Diavolo, he would remember it but no one else would, not even the user himself. This is because the stand moves independently of its own user. How we know this is because while it was in the erase time zone, right there, so the stand went out of its way and like just in the middle of that erase time where he's not supposed to see anything. The stand itself, not Giorno, because Giorno was like completely frozen in that moment. So the stand itself erased back time to the moment where Giorno was completely safe. And that's basically what he does. He just erased back time to where the user is safe because the main ability when this activates is when the user is not safe. You know? When the user is about in a not so safe like time zone, he goes back in time. And now there is an argument to be said that Giorno does remember this time because after that he then claps Diavolo, right, with his stand, which to me makes no sense since, he's not supposed to remember, but maybe it was just like because the stand did that all by itself, maybe. Or it was just the show, trying to explain it, right? I don't know. But the point here is that the main ability of it is just to go back in time. So for example, Diavolo is about to do that erase time and then just absolutely break and fold Giorno. Just absolutely fold Giorno. Okay? And then the stand goes, nah, beat, you're good. And then just goes back in time, right? To the point that Giorno is safe, right? And that's basically what it does, right? So let's take it into another account. So if the stand was in time stop, right? Some Jotaro or Dio time stopped for some reason, and Giorno was their target. Sorry, my head. Target, right? So the stand would then go back in time to the point where, the time stop had not happened yet. And, that's basically what it do. That's just all it would do. Because here's the thing about the stand, right? It acts completely independently of its user, and it kind of breaks the laws. That's why it's so confusing. But because it's such a bizarre adventure, you signed up for this. Yeah, because it's such a bizarre adventure. Like there has been other stands that break the laws. Like normally, if a stand user dies, the stand dies. Yeah, if the stand user dies, the stand dies, and if the stand dies, the stand user dies. It's like they're basically the same person. If I could word it better, it would be like the stand is the person's soul, and the soul shapes the body as well, and the body shapes the soul. So without any of the two, they would both break. So that's the best way. Like, kind of like in Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Where, that one dude has the ability to, change the person's soul, therefore changing the body. So here's another thing, right? Here's an example. So, that there was this one stand, right, that would only activate if the stand user died. And this is very strange because the main thing was that if a stand user dies, the stand dies. But in this stand was completely the opposite, right? So it was kind of strange. But stands themselves are strange. They're supposed to break the rules. Like, you can't hit a stand with anything else but another stand. So it just makes sense that, or unless you kill the stand user. So it just makes sense that, the laws would be broken if they're already broken like that. Like, stands aren't supposed to be just go by the rules. They're always going to be weird. Right? So we see this dude die, and then his stand come after the people that killed him. So that's the main point of the stand, right? And so it's like, yeah, I mean, there you go. It's just an example of how stands work. They just they don't have really laws, and if they do, they will eventually break them. Like, that's just how stands work. So really, trying to wrap your head around it just isn't plausible because it is a bizarre adventure. Like, that's the point. Anyway, yeah, that's my video on how stands work. And, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I'll try to respond. I don't know if I'm gonna be there to respond, but, I'll try my best. Anyway, have a good day, and, yeah, this has been Rex Rios. I'm out.